At the turn of the century, with much of Europe enjoying a period of peace and economic prosperity, Paris was slowly emerging as the continent's cultural center. From 1871 to 1914, the City of Light became a center for scientific, technological, and artistic innovation. Notably, French composers were eager to distinguish themselves from the Austro-Germanic traditions that had dominated much of 19th century classical music. The interest in creating a uniquely French musical language coincided with new sonorities entering the country from abroad. In 1889 and 1900, the Exposition Universelle brought the world to Paris, opening the ears of composers like Claude Debussy to exciting and previously unheard tonal landscapes.
I think it inspired this idea that you could do other things, and there were other sound worlds and other tonal worlds out there to explore, and ways in which you could work around going beyond basic Austro-German harmonic structure and rules of counterpoint, and ways to incorporate these new tonal systems and modal systems into music to create something new.
Another catalyst for the emergence of a distinctly French style during this time was the rise of salon concerts, where musicians and poets met and exchanged ideas. In contrast to the expositions where artists came into contact with others from the far reaches of the globe, these salon concerts were intimate affairs that stimulated new conversations and fostered the cross-pollination of ideas among French artists in a variety of disciplines.
I think the thing that's most interesting about that period is that great art making is not happening in some royal court. It's happening in people's living rooms. I mean, rich people's living rooms, let's be real, but people's living rooms. And you get people from all walks of life and all art forms crossing paths and having these inspiring conversations with each other. And they are trying to define a French aesthetic in response to this sort of Austro-German thing that dominates Europe at the time.
The French poet Paul Verlaine was one such artist who inspired composers like Claude Debussy and Gabriel Fauré to write music that reflected a uniquely French identity. Exchanges like these gave rise to the mélodies, the French equivalent of the German art song or lied. A perfect example of how this aesthetic dialogue catalyzed a new system of musical expression can be heard in Fauré's La Bonne Chanson.
La Bonne Chanson is a really definitive piece within his own work. It sort of marks a turning point in Fauré's style, where he starts to break down a lot of harmonic walls. And things happen harmonically very quickly in that cycle. And a lot of this is inspired, again, by Verlaine's poetry. And he was really experimenting with his musical language at that point. The first time it was premiered, there's this wonderful anecdote that his teacher and friend Saint-Saëns thought he was going insane and was concerned for his mental health because he thought the music sounded radical and somewhat insane. But it's now we listen to it and it sounds normal to us because of the work he did to establish this new sound world.
This hub of intellectual and artistic exchange served to reinvigorate French national pride. And art song, which blossomed in this creative environment, quickly became a key tool for defining and expressing the unique character of a nation.